Hi, welcome back to Story Time with Susan. We are continuing with our book, Hank the Cowdog and the Case of the Monkey Burglar. We are on chapter 3, so let's jump right on in. An important lesson in poetry. If you recall, Pete the Barn Cat had composed a silly little poem. Do I dare repeat it? I guess it wouldn't hurt. We tingle as we mingle, but I don't care, 'cause Wonder Dog Hanky lost his underwear. See, I told you it was silly, but Drover burst out with a giggle. Tee-hee. Oh, that's a good one, Pete. I marched over to the cat and gave him a snarl. Okay, kitty, this has gone far enough. At this point, I have 2 words for you. Happy birthday? No. Merry Christmas? No. Great poem? No. My 2 words to you are shove off, get lost, beat it. The cat fluttered his eyelids. But Hanky, that's 7 words. Maybe you miscounted. Oh yeah, then let me explain. I stuck my nose in his face and said, Roof. Hee hee, that got him. You should have seen the little pest. My air horn's bark blasted his ears off and sent him rolling backwards, hissing and spitting. I love doing that. See, you have to be firm with these cats. When they start mouthing off, you don't argue with them or try to be reasonable. You give them air horns right in the face. That will settle most arguments with a cat. And it's great fun too. Well, that took care of my business with the cat. So I marched back to my assistant. Okay, where were we? Well, let me see. I think you were talking about poetry. Ah, yes, poetry. I began pacing back and forth in front of him. It's a very important subject, Drover, because we dogs take pride in our ability to compose verses. Cats try to cobble up a poem every now and then, but the result is always embarrassing. I thought it was pretty good. They have no talent for language. I like the part about your underwear. They have no sense of meter or rhyme. I thought it was funny as heck. I stopped pacing. What? Drover glanced around. I didn't say anything. I thought I heard a voice. I'll be darned. It wasn't me. I looked up into a tree nearby. It must have been a bird. I resumed pacing. Dogs, on the other hand, seem to have a natural skill for composing delightful poems, and to demonstrate this, you give me a word, and I'll make up a poem about it. Any word? Any word at all. Give me your best shot. Well, let's see. Bulldozer. I pitched that one back and forth in my mind. Tell you what, let's try another one. Pork rinds. That's 2 words, Drover. Try to play by the rules. Sorry. Leprosy. I stopped in my tracks. Leprosy? Who can make a rhyme with leprosy? Well, it's a word. It's not a word. It's a disease. Diseases don't count in this contest. Give me a normal, healthy American word. He frowned. Darn. Okay, here's one. Chrysanthemum. That's not an American word. It's Chinese. He gave me a devilish grin. Yeah, and I'll bet you can't write a poem about it. I marched a few steps away and gazed off into the distance. Drover had challenged my gifts as a poet. Was I dog enough to accept the challenge, or would I wilt under the terrible stress of composing verses about chrysanthemums? This would likely be the most difficult poetic venture I had ever attempted, and the odds against success were astronomical. But my pride and reputation were at stake. I strode back to him and prepared to wipe that little smirk off his mouth. All right, son, I accept your challenge. He was stunned. I mean, when his eyes came up, they looked like two big moons with a fly in the center of each. No fooling. You're going to do a poem about chrysanthemums? Not just a poem, Drover. I'm going to raise the bar and make it even more difficult. I'm going to compose an entire song about chrysanthemums. It's never been done before. Nobody has even dared to attempt it. Oh my gosh. And with Drover watching in stunned silence, I wrote, composed, arranged, and performed this song, surely one of the most spectacular of my entire career. The Impossible Chrysanthemum Song. Chrysanthemum flowers are round like a ball. They grow in the summer and bloom in the fall. Sometimes they're yellow and sometimes they're not. Chrysanthemums usually live in a pot. If I were a flower, I'd want to announce that I had a name normal folks could pronounce. Chrysos means gold, if you happen to speak that musty old language that came from the Greeks. Chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum, a word you can't say while you're chewing your gum. This flower is pretty and pleasant to smell, but man, it is really a booger to spell. If I took a notion to send a bouquet, I'd pick out a flower whose name I could say. See, what would you write if you added a card? Herewith, a flower, the name is too hard to pronounce. I think that chrysanthemums surely must be the loneliest flowers you ever will see. Why, even the insects avoid 'em too. Four-syllable flowers are harder to chew. Chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum, a word you can't say while you're chewing your gum. This flower is pretty and pleasant to smell, but man, it is really a booger to spell. One more thing about chrysanthemum's name. It's certain to drive all the poets insane. Try it yourself and give it some time, but you'll never invent a chrysanthemum rhyme. A song about this flower is impossible to make. Shakespeare himself would have gotten the shakes. Brave poets who tried it are now on the shelf, but Drover, take note, I've done it myself. Chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum, a word you can't say while you're chewing your gum. This flower is pretty and pleasant to smell, but man, it is really a booger to spell. Pretty awesome song, huh? You bet. Even I was amazed. I turned to Drover and waited for him to burst into applause. He didn't. Hey, I just performed a song about chrysanthemums. Do you suppose you could show some respect? Well, it was pretty good, I guess. Pretty good? Drover, it's never been done before. This was a first. Yeah, but you didn't really make a rhyme with chrysanthemum. Gum, gum rhymes with mum. He grinned. Yeah, but that's kind of like cheating. I thought you were going to make a rhyme with the whole word. Drover, there is no word that will rhyme with chrysanthemum. And in case you missed it, that was the whole point of the song. Well, I like Pete's poem better. You what? I stormed away from the little goof. Just skip it, Drover. I'm sorry I bothered. Your mind is sick, and there's nothing we can do about it. Where are you going? Don't speak to me. Are you looking for Slim? Yes. You're going in the wrong direction. I whirled around and reversed directions. Don't tell me what to do, and stop following me. Someone might think we're friends. You see what I have to put up with? The little dunce liked Pete's pitiful little verse about underwear better than my tribute to... Oh well. I found Slim behind the machine shed, scowling at the motor of the old truck. It had been parked there since our last hay hauling experience, a month ago. The hood was up, and Slim had reached his hand down toward the motor. I knew what was coming next, and came to a sudden stop. Drover ran into me. Oops, sorry. Oh, look, there's Slim. Right. Listen, Drover, I've got a little job for you. His face lit up. Oh, goody! You mean we're friends again? Why, yes, of course. That little spat we had about poetry, well, in the larger scheme of things, it meant nothing. Almost nothing at all. Oh, good. There for a moment I thought you were mad at me. I gave a careless laugh. Friends argue, Drover, but friendship remains the same. Yeah, like pork rinds. Pork rinds? Yeah, they're always the same. Greasy. They give me indigestion. Yes, of course. I leaned toward him and whispered, Drover, Slim's having a bad day. I think one of us should rush over to him and, cheer him up with howdies and happy looks. Which of us could do that? He puzzled over that for a moment. Then his face broke out into a wide grin. You know what? I think I could do it. No kidding. Yeah, 'cause I'm in a happy mood, and I know how to do howdies. With your stubby tail? Oh yeah, I can wiggle it fast. See? He gave me a demonstration of wiggling his tail. It was pathetic, but I pretended to be impressed. That's perfect, Drover. Just what he needs. Okay, pal, rush over there and do your stuff. I'll be right here, cheering you on. Okay, here I go. Do you see what's coming? You'll love it. So, we have Hank singing about chrysanthemums. We have Drover with his little stubby tail going to give howdies to Slim. What could go wrong? Join me next time for Hank and Drover's silliness. So join me next time for Chapter 4. As always, like and subscribe and have a great day.